Hello YouTube, Flightsimguy here. I am in Salt Lake City in the Boeing 717 by TFDI Designs. What I'm going to do today, I'm not going to fly a mission. What I want to do today is to show you this great program that I've discovered. It's been out there for a while. It's called Aivlasoft's Electronic Flight Bag, EFB. And I'm going to show you what all this program can do for you if you like to fly commercial flights or just about any other flights. It's pretty cool. Alright, so let's go ahead and start. What is Aivlasoft's EFB? What it is what it is, an electronic flight bag. It's an awesome reference tool that's absolutely invaluable. I can't believe I've been flying without it for so long. It's been on the market since 2009. It costs about £69, which is a little bit more than 70 US dollars. And it's a program that you can run on one computer or two computers. Okay, so it's a 70 megabyte installer. Once you run installer, it installs both the client and the server on whatever computer installed that. The client is called the display unit. The server is called data provider. So when you run the installer, it doesn't ask you which one you want to install. It puts both of them on your computer. Now, if you're going to run it on the same computer as the SIM, you run the data provider, configure it. You run the display unit, configure it, and then you can use it on the same machine as your SIM. Only problem with that is you have to switch back and forth between your SIM and the display unit to get the information that you're going to need. So how I've installed it is the way that it's typically installed, which is on two computers. The display unit is on a separate computer, and the data provider is on the same computer with the simulator. Now, when you set it up the first time, you need to know how to share folders and set up TCP/IP ports and all that kind of stuff, because that's how the program talks to each other on different machines, how the client and the server is configured. The installation manual and the configuration manual for this program is about 57 pages. So it's a little bit detailed, but if you know anything about getting computers to talk to each other, basic networking, TCP/IP, sharing folders, you should be good. Alright, so let's go from my gaming rig over to my other computer. That's going to be the display unit. Here it is right here. This program, it's installed on this computer, but I'm never going to use it. Okay, I'm only using the display unit because the data provider is on my gaming rig. This is already set up, so let's go ahead and run it. Double click. And I would highly recommend that you have these on separate computers, because even though it's a simple client server application, it's a bit of a resource hog. So if you run it on your gaming rig, you're going to be running your simulator, Active Sky Next, your OBS recorder, and all those other programs. So, do yourself a favor, run this on a separate computer. Alright, so it's initializing. The data provider is already running on the rig, so it's doing its thing. It's looking for the program and evidently found it, otherwise it would have said we got some sort of error. So, what does this program do? It's kind of hard to explain. The easiest way to describe it is it's an electronic flight bag. It provides you all the information that you will need when you're flying a mission from one large airport to another. Okay? The best way to explain it is to show you what it can do. My next flight in the 717 is to go from Salt Lake City to Colorado Springs Municipal in Colorado. Alright? I already have the flight plan developed from SimBrief and exported as a Microsoft Flight Simulator flight plan. So when you open this up, by itself, all you can do is query airports. Okay, it doesn't do anything else for you until you actually set up a route. So let's go ahead and do that. Route setup. Now, this interface allows you to build a flight plan. Okay, you input your origin, just enter an airport. Okay. And then you input a destination. Again, enter an airport. And here you enter your route, which is your SID, your route, your star, and your destination airport, route type, cruise altitude, and whatnot. Now, this allows you to build a flight plan. Obviously, you can use this to do a flight plan, But this is not a dedicated flight planning tool. Odds are you're going to do your flight plan in another program, such as SimBrief, which I've done. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I already had the flight plan from Salt Lake City to Colorado Municipal. So what I'm going to do is load it up. You click on select, and here you go ahead and tell it you want a Microsoft Flight Simulator plan. And then you can surf to the folder where you keep your flight plans. I'll show you later how you can configure the settings for this program, and it will show you how you can tell it where you want to store information. So here we want Salt Lake City to Colorado Municipal. Click on that, hit open, and voila, it loads up the flight plan that you created in SimBrief. It will also load a flight plan that you created in Microsoft Flight Simulator or whatever. It loads up the plan and it shows you all this good information. Here's your SID, your route, and your star. Also has the aircraft that you created the plan in SimBrief, and this is the route. Okay, now here's the cool part. Modify. If you wanted to, you can go ahead and modify this route. You can select whatever runway you're taking off from. Select your SID. We already have a SID, so we're not going to change it, but let's go ahead and select one. Then you select your transition and whatnot. Then you can do an insert and whatnot. But we're not going to do any of that stuff. Okay? The point is, it allows you to change the plan that you already have. But here's the cool part. Once you're done, and you can also do a preview. Once you're done, you can go ahead and save. Okay? And here it will save it as a EFBR, Electronic Flight Bag file. And it'll save it wherever you want. And you can save it in whatever format you want. But the cool thing is, when you hit activate, it injects the flight plan from this computer into your rig. That means you don't have to do a file load and load the flight plan. It injects it into the simulator and it's all good to go. Now at this point you have the route activated. Alright, what can you do? There's a tremendous amount of information here. First of all, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. This is the runway layout for the destination. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and start from the top. Once you've activated the route, it presents you a ton of information. So what can you do? Let's go to KSLC. This is Salt Lake City. This is where I am. All right. These planes are the AI traffic that the simulator is generating. You can remove them or add them by clicking this. All right. It shows you all the runways. It shows you all the taxiways. And the good thing about this tool is all this information was read from the databases in the simulator. So in the past, whenever I did my my missions, I'd always go to SkyVector to get this information. Well, the problem is SkyVector is a real-world application with all the current airports and whatnot. Microsoft Flight Simulator is over 10 years old. This brings you all the information that actually exists in the simulator, so you don't run into those situations where you come across a runway in the real world that doesn't exist in the sim and the frequencies are wrong and whatnot. Alright, these are the AI aircraft and it updates it in real time. Here I'm doing a right click and dragging the map, and I'm using the mouse wheel to scroll in and out. And I can see all the information in the airport. Okay? Let's see, are there any planes in flight? Not yet. Well, actually, this plane right here, he looks like he's in motion, so he's probably getting ready to take off. And if I go over to the simulator, I can actually see these planes and their, what they're doing. Now you're probably wondering, well, on this map, where the hell am I? That's a very good question. All you need to do is click on this plane, and it puts you on the map and centers you in that position. So here I am. And if I come over to the simulator, over here, alright, let's move this paper out of the way. I can actually see where I am and all the planes near to me and which ones are in motion and whatnot. That's pretty cool. This plane right here is in motion. Every time I click it, it refreshes. Now, if you try to move, right click and try to move, it doesn't do anything because you're centered on this plane. So you gotta click it again, and then you have the flexibility to move around. So using this, you can extrapolate your taxiways, what taxiways you need to taxi on to get to where you need to go. That is pretty cool. Departure. If you click on this, it comes out to the departure area. This line right here, that's my SID, and that's my flight plan. Pretty cool, huh? En route. It shows you more information. It zooms out. And if you click on traffic, or if you click on these buttons down here, it gives more information on your screen. By clicking on traffic, it's showing me all the AI traffic that's in the current area. If I click on arrival, it's going to go over to Colorado and show you the flight plan coming in. And it also shows you the approach if you click on approach. And here it shows you the runway layout for Colorado Municipal. In this case, I'm flying the 717, which is a relatively big plane, so I'm going to have to come in on one of these longer runways. The only problem I've encountered is the runway length is in meters, and I'm normally used to feet, so you have to do some sort of conversion. Right here are all your frequencies. Here's your ATIS, here's your clearance, your tower and ground, terminal, VFR. If I come over to Colorado, if I come over to Salt Lake City, again, I have my frequencies for ATIS, clearance, the tower, ground, terminal. These are all my approach frequencies. And remember, these are FSX frequencies, not real world. This plane right here is in motion. See, look at him go. And if I come over to the sim, I can see him going. There he is right there. On that, and then I can move stuff around. Then you have your frequencies. Okay. This right here toggles the wind. Here it shows you the wind. What the wind direction is, wind speed and wind direction. Alright. Now, what else can this thing do for you? Salt Lake City ground. If you right click, you can get your METAR report. Okay? In this case, it's loading the weather report from the actual real world weather. You can select the simulator, in which case it will load the weather from the simulator. If you have Active Sky Next running on your sim, it will load that. Active Sky Next is probably loading its weather from here, so big circle. And all your detailed weather information can be found right here. Another cool thing you can do is right click and go to airport information. I always go to SkyVector to find this information, but it's right here in my flight bag. It shows you all my runways, how long they are, how wide they are, whether they're asphalt or concrete, their heading, takeoff and landing, whatnot. Also has all the ILS frequencies. This is invaluable. Also tells you if it has PAPI lights and the nearby nav aids. And here are all your frequencies again. Okay, right click. Here, I'm not exactly sure what the devil this is. It says, you know, if you want to go to the runway, to the runway from, let's say right now I'm at gate, I think it's B13 or B11. Yes, here's where I am. And I want to go to our runway. I was thinking it would actually generate the actual taxi diagram, but it doesn't. Not exactly sure what this interface is supposed to do. But, you know, here, if you click on a taxiway, it actually lights it up on this screen right here. For example, this is H. If you click on it, it actually, here you go. It actually highlights where the taxi diagram is. So, but either way, you can use this. I know when I was flying on VATSIM back in the day, you know, the controller will tell you, hey, go ahead and taxi to runway so and so using taxi diagram so and so and so and so. And it was hard figuring out how to taxi, but here it actually shows you, where the taxiways are. This guy's getting ready to take off, so is this guy. And if I look in my sim, I can actually see them. Frugal did a fully loaded video with the CRJ a couple days ago, and he has ultimate traffic on his sim. So this entire airport, all the parking slots were filled with aircraft. And when you went to the departure, he had a tool or a program that injected real world traffic in the air into the sim. So he had a lot of traffic in here also. My computer is not as powerful as his, so I don't have that running. Alright, right click on ground. What else? Alright, I just showed you all of that stuff. Here, if you want to get airport information from any airport, just go ahead and click all airports. Type up the airport that you want. Get my keyboard here. Let's go ahead and put KCMH, Port Columbus. Okay, let's try that again. Alright, what's going on here? Oh, wrong keyboard. I had a couple drinks before I started this video. Okay, so bear with me. Get airport data. And here I can reference Port Columbus. Here are all my frequencies. Here's a wind. Approach. Obviously you're not going to see anything because I'm not flying in this area. But it's an electronic flight bag. It's an outstanding reference for whatever information that you need. I just pulled up this airport, Port Columbus. I can go ahead and do star overview and I can look at the details for all the stars. Alright, too much information here. Let's go ahead and turn some of the stuff down. Wind. Turn off this. And here's the details. Move up for the gun star. Arriving south. Here's the Bremen star. Arriving west. Here is the Gale star and arriving east. It shows you all the details for all the stars. Alright. Cancel. What other information you can get? Direct to shows you all the fixes. And it doesn't have any SIDs here, vectors. The point is, it's an electronic flight bag. It has a wealth of information that is invaluable to you while you're simming. Flight log. Flight log not yet available. I guess this fills out once you do more and more flights. I haven't done any flights on this yet. I intend to shortly. Another good thing about this program has a 30-day fully functional trial period, so you can go ahead and download it and use it for 30 days. I'm in my 30-day trial period. I haven't shelled out my 70 pounds yet, but it looks pretty good. Modules. It also has a library where you can store information. It has NOTAM, and here it's pulling up NOTAMs from the real world FAA site. I'm not exactly sure how this is useful because the simulator never have NOTAMs and real world NOTAMs don't apply to the sim. And if you're flying online, VATSIM has their own NOTAMs, so I'm not exactly sure how this is beneficial. And you can also import checklists for your aircraft. There are Aivlasoft EFB compliant checklists on the internet. You can just go ahead and download them and put them in here, and then you can pull up all your checklists for all your aircraft. Okay, go back to route setup. There's my route. Whenever you make plans or whenever you change your route, let's say you're in flight and let's assume we're using a different plane. Let's say you're flying the Phenom. You know, in the Phenom, when you do your flight plan and you load it into the simulator, you have the route on your GPS. All right. Here, if you're flying the Phenom, you can go in and you can modify the route. When you do activate it, it actually changes it real time in the aircraft. So you don't need to fiddle with the GPS in the aircraft. You just come over here, make whatever changes that you want, and hit activate it, it will inject it in the simulator and you're good to go. You can also do your alternates. You can preview your route. I think I showed you that before. And what else? This right here shows you a whole bunch of tools. Top of climb, distance, time, next waypoint. What this means is while you're in flight, all this stuff updates. I'm just making assumptions. I haven't tried this out yet, but it only makes sense. This tool right here, when you go to once you've loaded your flight plan, this for me is the most useful. I mean, it shows you the taxiways, shows you the airports, shows you where you are, where you need to go to taxi to a runway. It shows you your departure, your en route, your arrival, your approach. And normally you'd go to flight SkyVector to get all this information. Well, here it's all right here for you. And here it shows you all the AI traffic, and it actually shows you them in motion. Now looking at this, let's see here now. The runway or the airport is right here. Do we have anybody coming in? Let's go to SLC, zoom out. Alright, this guy right here, he's taking off. Let's see if we can zoom in further. There he goes, he's taking off. And you know what? Something just occurred to me. If I'm flying online, all this would be real-world VATSIM information. If you're flying online, all these aircraft will be real-world VATSIM or real VATSIM stuff. This guy just landed and he's taxiing off. And let's come over here. That. Let's zoom out. Here we go. Here we have two planes getting ready. He's going to go ahead and take off shortly. And where am I? I am here. Let me see if I can see him. Parked that way. So I need to look over here. And there they are. I'm looking in the sim. And there are the two planes getting ready to take off. There's a plane right behind me taxiing up. And here he is right here. Okay, what else can I show? You can modify the routes, has a lot of reference tools. You can reference airports. You can get a META report for any airport that you want. And I haven't tried this yet, and I will when I resume my Middle Eastern tour. But when I'm in flight, I imagine that it will actually show me in real time where I am on the map. And don't forget, this loads up all the navigational aids, all the fixes, all your airports, everything. Like I said, it's an electronic flight bag. It allows you to reference a ton of information regarding your area and parameters for your flight. Last thing I want to show you, come over to system. Let's go back to the ground. When you first load the application, it gives you these options from the system. Here you can choose how your menu is laid out. I'm not going to go into that. You can go ahead and load up your checklist. Aircraft editor, you can go ahead and add aircrafts. Whenever you do a flight, you just go ahead and create a new aircraft, put the manufacturer type and whatnot, and you're good to go. Make sure you select the aircraft with the flight that you're doing. Right click, settings. Alright, so once you install the application for the first time, you're going to need to come in here. Don't monkey with the port unless you're actually using this specific port. Don't change the port. Just select remote if you're having it on a different computer. Leave it local if you're having it on the same computer. And here you need to enter the IP address of the computer running the sim, or the computer running the data provider. Leave all this information default. Folders and links. Now remember, this is the display unit application. Okay, So whenever you create aircrafts, it's going to store in the aircraft. Whatever documentation you save, it's going to be in the library. Your flight logs are going to be in the flight log folder. Your routes are going to be stored in the routes folder. You remember the NOTAMs that I pulled up earlier? That's coming from this website. Here's your VAT URL and your VAT route finder in case you want to create a flight plan or create a route using this tool. I would recommend creating your routes in SimBrief. It's the best route creator, or the best, not route creator, but the best flight planner. You can create your own routes using SkyVector, cut and paste them over. I have another video that shows how to do that. Charts. Leave all this the way it is. To me, it works pretty good. All right. Approach. You can change all this information. Here's your stars, your SIDS, your en route. You can change this to your liking. You can change your colors. You can change where your toolbar is located. You can change how the AI traffic is displayed. If you're in a multiplayer session, it'll show you the multiplayer. And here's some miscellaneous. Now, the only thing that's missing that I would appreciate in this application is, right now it shows the distances or the length of the runways in meters. To me, feet is more useful. Weather. You can point it to active sky data files. You can point it to whatever. In this case, it's pulling weather from the real world weather website. At some point, this weather website may go offline or whatever. If that's the case, just go ahead and point it to Active Sky Next on the computer running the sim. Flight information. You can modify all of this stuff. You can monkey with this, see whatever it does for you. Online, VATS and boundary files, VATS and definition files, some more information that you can tinker with. And here you have some miscellaneous, your name, current aircraft, and whatnot. Now, I think that's a high-level overview. There is the data provider module. On that, you can specify what simulator you're running. This works for FSX, FSX Steam, and P3D, version 3 and onwards. Let's come over here. I know you can't see this. See, when you run the data provider, it opens up an ASCII window that shows you the status of the connection and what it's doing. You can't see this right now, but it shows you all essentially what it's doing in the background. And from the data provider, you can go ahead and go into your settings, and you can change stuff such as ports that you're communicating on, timeout settings, disconnect, timeout, a live signal. You can tell it what simulator you want to use this on, FSX Boxed, Steam, or P3D. You need to point it to the installation folder, the flight plan folder, scenery config folder, etc. Also, this application is Navigraph compatible. So once you install it, if you have a Navigraph subscription, go out and download the installer for the Aivlasoft EFB. Go ahead and run it, and then point the application to the Navigraph data that it provides. That way you have access to all the most recent waypoints. You can specify shortcuts with regards to your commands. If you don't want to do the point and click with the mouse, you can go ahead and do the shortcuts. And with the miscellaneous, you can configure the sounds, navigate around airport, whatever range you want to use, and whatnot. And that's it. It's a very useful tool. I'm going to go ahead and give this a try when I pick up my next flight in my Middle Eastern tour, which I'll probably do with one of the new planes I'm flying, either the CRG or the 717. I have about 26 days left for this, and I'm definitely going to give it a go and see how much it improves my simming. I think it will, because I spent a lot of time researching information during my flights to find stuff like, nav aids, airports, weather reports, runways, and all that. And here it provides all the information. If I want, I can change my flight plan en route and just inject the new plan into the simulator. I can preview, see what it looks like. It's a pretty cool tool. And I think that's all I have for now. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I can show? I think the only thing that's missing are the various usability features, but that you can figure out by yourself. If you're doing long hauls or, commercial flights, an hour, hour and a half, or whatever, using a big jet, there's no reason why you can't go ahead and download this and try it out. It has a 30-day free trial period. If you're having problems getting it set up, just let me know. I figured it out in like half an hour. It really wasn't that hard. And see what it can do for you. For me, I think it's definitely very useful. All right, I think that's it. My name is Flightsimguy. Hope you found this video useful. And this was a lot easier after I had a couple drinks. I need to start drinking before I do my flights. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.